Welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, you will learn how to create the foundations for a model. You will create pad footings and strip footings. You will also learn how to copy objects with the commands copy and copy linear. Each concrete part whose cast unit type is cast in place automatically forms a pour object. The setting you use for pour management affects how cast-in-place objects with the same material grade and pour phase are displayed in Tekla structures. By default, pour management is disabled when using the engineer role. This means that the lines for overlapping concrete are visible in the model. You can switch pour management on from Advanced Options, which are under the File menu and Settings. Look for the option called XS Enable Pour Management and set value to True. This enables pour management in the model you have open. The commands that show and create pour objects and pour breaks in the model and drawings are only available when pour management is enabled. Let's create pad footings along grid line A. Switch to Plane View. Open Pad Footing Properties. On the Concrete tab, under Footing, hold down the Shift key and select Pad Footing. The Properties pane opens. Let's show the reference drawing so that we can see where to place the footings. Next, let's modify the properties. Under Position, set the top level to -200 and bottom to -700. To place the footings, pick the grid intersections along grid line A. Because we set the top and bottom levels in the properties, we don't have to worry about placing them in the correct elevation, just to the proper grid location. When all 4 footings have been placed, interrupt the command. Commands stay active until interrupted. To end commands, you can right-click and select Interrupt or press the Escape key to restart the last command you used. Press the Enter key. Pause the video to practice what you have learned. Next, let's add strip footings to the model. On the Concrete tab, under Footing, select Strip Footing. On the Properties pane, make sure that the profile is 300 by 600. Set the position at depth behind 200. Now you can start placing the footings to the model. Pick the starting point at the intersection A1. And then the end point at A2. Finish the command with the middle mouse button. Repeat this for the remaining footings along grid line A. Finally, right-click and interrupt the command. Pause the video to practice what you have learned. Let's finish building the foundations for our model with the help of the copy commands. Again, hold down Ctrl and P to switch to Plane View. Before you start, ensure that the Select Component switch is active. Let's also turn off the switches for selecting reference models and grids. Now you can select the footings that were already created by dragging a selection around them. Right-click and select to copy Special and Linear. On the Copy Linear dialog, change the value for Y direction to 6,000. This means that the parts will be copied 6,000 millimeters in the positive direction. If you don't know the exact distance, you can use the Pick tool to pick the point to copy from and the point to copy to, and the distance is filled out automatically. Change the number of copies to 2. Click Copy. The footings are copied to the other grid lines. Interrupt the command. Now let's add strip footings to grid line 1. Select the command from the ribbon and, like before, create the footings. Interrupt the command. Let's use the copy tools again. Select the newly created footings by holding down the Control key while you select them from the model. Then right-click and select Copy. With the basic Copy tool, you need to first pick the origin for copying along grid line 1 and the destination points along the other grid lines. Pause the video to practice what you have learned. You have now reached the end of this tutorial. In this tutorial, you've learned how to create foundations to a model, how to create pad footings, strip footings, and how to copy existing parts to speed up the creation process.